Hello, and welcome to another episode of Red State Blues. I'm Ben.
And I'm Melanie.
Yep, we are back after a little bit of a hiatus once again. Thanks for tuning in and listening. There's a lot of things actually we wanted to talk about, and actually we keep talking to each other about like all the things we want to talk about on the podcast, like pretty much constantly.
Yep.
We like make a list almost, and then it ends up becoming like too much, and then we end up like having like
4-hour podcast.
4-hour long podcast. I mean, I guess you can do that, but I mean, anyway, and then a big part of the reasons though that we haven't we'd really like to do it weekly, but again, it's just a time constraint thing with the kids and with work and everything like that. So, anyway, sorry for being gone for so long. Sorry for the irregularity of it. I know they say like the number one rule in making any content is just regularity. I don't know if that's the number one rule, but it feels like it is. And yeah. I know we're not very good at that, but
we would be if it was our job and we had
if we were actually getting paid any money for this, we probably would be. But that's not exactly what the case is here. Yeah, so
work in school and things like that. It's hard.
I know a lot of the podcasts that I listen to and stuff too. They have production companies that make them, and they record multiple ones, I think, right? And then they like load them up, and then they just
publish as is, and as it goes.
Ours is not. No. It's not live, but it's pretty darn close to live. So it's we just we make it and we get it out there as soon as we're done making it.
Yep.
But
this is just us.
Yeah, it's more of a technological hurdle too, definitely, than I ever would have thought possible. When I got into this, the amount of, it's not like unbelievably hard or anything like that. I mean, I'm not saying that, but it's a lot goes into it. I will say
a lot of details.
Yeah. Anyway, but technologically, I mean, there's a lot to it. But anyway, so let's get this started. I think that the big news is, since I know it's been like a month or so since we've even released one, but really I think that the Democrats have more and more solidified their control over the state of Michigan, which is awesome. They're actually passing a lot of things that I think a lot of us, or at least a lot of us in the left, would like to see. I don't know how the average person feels. I read an article about this in Bridge, Michigan, .com, where they went up to a little town in
Manton, wasn't it?
Was it Manton?
I thought it was Manton.
Anyway, and they talked to people anyway, and the average person just didn't really care. That's at least that's the theory there, that they didn't really care about the gun storage laws or actually I shouldn't say that. They didn't care about the red flag laws that are getting passed now. They do care about the gun storage laws, or at least the person they talked to who owned a gun shop talked to. But they definitely didn't. No one seems to. Apparently, the sky is not falling, and it's not the end of the world for having a red flag law. So if you're a domestic violence abuser person and have a record, you're not going to be able to have a gun. Oh, no, I don't know, really. Apparently no one's really against this, even though everybody acted like they were horribly against it just, 5 minutes ago, it seems like.
Yep.
So that's apparently no big deal. It's starting to look like the other side's willpower in some of these is kind of artificial, I should say. Or like, not the other side, but the point of view of the Republicans is a bit of an artificial or red herring, I guess. Maybe it was manufactured to a large degree by the gun lobby, because they just want to be able to sell more guns. But I don't think the Democrats are going to, it's just not the case. They're just not going to outlaw guns. Mm-hmm. They're just not. It's not in this state. Hunting and fishing are just like two of the biggest industries here. It's just not going to happen.
And we want to keep our tourism dollars.
Yeah, no one's going to take anybody's hunting rifle.
But the gun lobby wants to just basically place an automatic weapon or a handgun or a rifle in every single baby's hands the minute they're born.
But I think that
so they can sell the maximum amount of guns.
Their job. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. You're right.
Yep. It's all about money.
They just see that the gun manufacturers just see that as their job to make more money.
So the town that was in the article was Harrisville, and they have a population of 437 people. It's near Alpena, if you don't know where that is. So yeah.
Anyway, it's that's I don't know. That's not an official poll of anybody or anything like that.
No, but I think they were trying to go to the most rural, small town area to find out what people actually feel like instead of listening to talking heads. Yeah. I think that's a good thing. They went to a small town to find out what people think.
Get the talking heads out of it, get the lobbyists out of it, get the political hacks out of it a little bit, maybe on either side for that matter.
Yep.
You know, I'm sure there's people on the left that are saying that they want to ban all firearms, and that's not a realistic option. So but I think that I don't have a problem. Why would you want the gun storage law that's getting passed, right? Sorry to jump right into guns here, by the way. This seems to be, it goes right back to that when we're talking about local news. It seems to be like that's the big thing. I shouldn't say local, Michigan news, the kind of big controversial issue. But I think that the gun storage laws was the one thing that guy had a problem with in that town.
Yep.
But again, I don't know how you would have a problem with that. All it's saying is that if your gun is used by a minor and it was left loaded, basically laying around your house, it was used by a minor or a child or whatever in a crime, then you could be held liable. Which I think I can see how that got passed in the wake of the Oxford shooting.
Yep.
Because I'm sure that probably might have been difficult to prosecute the parent. That's essentially kind of what happened.
Yep.
You know, right? The kid, whatever he was, teenager or whatever, who shot up everything, like he used his parents' firearms.
Yep.
And I don't know how that came out, actually. But they were going to be prosecuted anyway, unless I was aware. And I see why. And now this is going to be on the books is like, yeah, your kid uses a firearm that you left unloaded. Like, you need to take care of those firearms. So
I really think that it would be helpful for the gun manufacturers to just, every gun they sell a lock for it.
Yeah.
It should just come as an accessory to the gun purchase.
Maybe that's a good idea.
Come with it.
I have no problem with that.
That
Maybe
would be
just
simple.
Like every single gun should just have
then you'd have an automatic one, and then all you would have to worry about is finding appropriate locks for old, grandfathered in.
Well, that's where it's just like you should be required to have a safe. I mean, I think that's the whole thing. If you have minors in the house, just have them locked up somehow, just locked under lock and key. You know, maybe not the most expensive safe in the world or whatever, but just have them locked up. And unloaded. Good grief. You know, that's not too much to ask, but apparently that's too much to ask for a lot of people. God, that's frustrating, actually. Again, though, it's like no one's saying you can't own a gun. No one's saying you can't carry a gun. Like the scene in Tombstone. They're just saying you can't carry a gun in town, or like I don't. It's like the ERPs. It's like they're just trying to lower violence on the streets of Tombstone. You can just, when you come into town, just take your gun off, and then
don't take your guns to town, son.
That's all. No one's saying you can't have one. No one's saying anything like that. I just don't understand. It doesn't seem that controversial.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, your domestic violence guy, no, you can't have a gun. Sorry.
If you're receiving mental health services for a serious problem, yeah.
Maybe I don't think they passed that, though.
They should.
Yeah, but that's not, I'm specifically, oh, yeah, you're right. They definitely should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, very specifically, though, they passed the, like I said, gun storage law, and I think, was there 3?
Yeah.
I don't remember what the other one was.
Something.
Yeah.
Let me skim.
You got the article there?
Mm-hmm. So it was a trio of safety measures was universal background checks, secure storage, and red flag laws.
Universal background checks. Yeah, okay. That was the other thing, right? No one said they had a problem with it, really, that they talked to. At least, who knows? I'm sure everybody, as soon as, as soon as right-wing media gets everybody all revved up, I'm sure they'll hate universal background checks or something like that. But frankly, I think, doesn't Florida have some of these rules in place? I mean, like, there's a lot of states that have these rules in place at this point. I mean, I think the hard part about the universal background checks, it would be an expense. I'll put it that way. Because from what it sounds like, the universal background checks are going to involve any long gun, any sale or purchase of a long gun from anybody or anything. So like even private gun shows or whatever. So it's not like, so if you just buy a gun from somebody you know, supposedly I think at some point there's supposed to be a background check on that. I'm not exactly sure how that would work.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who would have to pay for that. I don't think a lot of people are going to be doing that, though. But you never know. I mean, at a gun show, though, I mean, I'm sure they're gonna have to try to figure out a way to regulate that.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they would intend to do that. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know anything about it really. So, I have multiple firearms that are just kind of inherited, you know. So it's just like I don't really like buy and sell them a lot. Yeah, so I'm in favor of all these. I think you're definitely right, though. If somebody's like, maybe the next level of this would be if somebody's like in serious mental, like mentally incapacitated somehow, or under some kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. You know what I mean? I don't want to say committed, but like somebody, yeah. I mean, really, somebody who'd be committed. You know. Yep. Maybe they shouldn't have maybe they shouldn't have a gun. So right. I don't know how they would pass anything like that, though.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, we can move on to whatever you're. Yeah.
Well, no, I was just gonna say this subject is gonna keep coming up until something gets done about it because, it's only March and there's been 131 mass shootings with 4 or more people killed in this country. And of course, we all know about Nashville just happened, and that kind of made me mad. I was reading an article about it, and let me find it. At the end of the article, it said that while the people were doing their vigils after it had happened, like right after it happened on a Tuesday, it says... federal judge quietly paved the way for Tennessee to reduce the minimum age at which residents can carry handguns publicly from 21 to 18. So I thought that was really disheartening. I just wish, this would be over with. Like, our podcast started with a story like this, and then to have
it's not going to get it over with. I don't know.
In so few months is kind of...
That seems unrealistic.
Sickening.
It's not going to just get over with. I mean, what do you mean?
No, I mean, like, I wish we could find a way to reduce the amount of them that's happening some way. Whatever that may be, if it's red flag laws or whatever. I
know what you mean, but, like, that doesn't seem possible. Like, I wish I could say that's... I really wish it would be, too, but...
Yeah. I wish people could
feel
safe.
It's not just going to go away without them passing some mass on the federal level, like a mass gun control measure, to like, basically, I don't even know, actually, to really restrict gun ownership, which I don't think there's any way in that, without a constitutional amendment, I don't see how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, which it could happen. Maybe it will. You look at what Britain and Australia had mass shootings, and they just pretty much took away guns, by and large, other than like shotguns and things. And then you had to have a permit to have a shotgun, But I mean, and that actually solved it, though. I mean, contrary to what the NRA spokespeople like to say.
Yeah, I feel like
Scotland doesn't have a bunch of mass shootings, and Australia doesn't have a bunch of mass shootings anymore, or anything like that. There was a mass shooting in Scotland in the 90s. It was bad. And they're like, nope, no more guns then, And I don't blame them, They don't have the Second Amendment, though.
Right.
So we would actually have to pass something changing the Second Amendment.
Right.
And that's maybe it'll happen. Who knows? I mean, I think you're right, though. It'd be nice if it could, but I think it's going to take a lot. Although I think maybe the Republicans in the long run are on the losing side of it, and maybe they're starting to realize that with how the last election turned out. In on the federal level, they didn't even take the Senate. Like they took the House barely.
Yeah.
And like that was probably quite a surprise to them. And like the vast majority of people is overly concerned with owning a firearm is what I think they would have you believe.
I think that people in general want their children to be safe at school and and people in general safe in public spaces, because they've happened in so many different places. It's not just school. It's not just one place. It's not just church. It's not just the mall. It's not just the movie theater. It's not just the club. It's all these places. So it's very, it's a big mess.
All right, maybe enough of that doom and gloom stuff. Let's move on to another subject. All right, so I got this. I was reading Reddit, and then I got linked to an article about the New York or in the New York Times about Michigan. This is about only 3 days ago. The title of the article in the New York Times is "Michigan Democrats Rise and Try to Turn a Battleground Blue" by Katie Glueck. She went over to Bay City and went to Birmingham, Michigan, and everything like that, which is pretty awesome. She actually talked to people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'll just start reading the article really quick. It's from March 29th, 2023. The governor of Michigan is considering one of her party's brightest stars. Her state's Democratic-controlled legislature is rapidly approving a raft of ambitious priorities. The Democratic Party is planning to host one of its earliest presidential primaries in Michigan, while the state's Republican Party is in chaos. 7 years after Michigan helped cement Donald J. Trump's presidential victory, the state has transformed into a new, if fragile, focal point of Democratic power, testing the promise and pitfalls of complete Democratic governance in one of the nation's preeminent political battlegrounds. Michigan's Democratic leaders, however, recoil at the idea that their state, once a reliable stronghold for the party in presidential years, is turning blue once more. No, Michigan's not a blue state, Governor Gretchen Whitmer insisted at an interview last week in Bay City, nestled in a windy working-class county near Saginaw Bay that Mr. Trump won twice. Miss Whitmer captured it too, prevailing there and across the state in Democrats' November sweep. It would be a mistake for anyone to look at that and think Michigan is not still a toss-up. Very competitive, very diverse state. That's going to decide the outcome of the next national election again, she said. Everybody thinks, Michigan's done. It's a blue state. I had a representative, Debbie Dingell, a Michigan Democrat. Tenuous is the operative word. Against that backdrop, significant victories last fall in a state that is so closely divided, state Democrats are pursuing a flood of liberal legislation while measuring the durability of an unwieldy coalition that defeated Republicans in the last three elections. Democratic triumphs were fueled by both moderate suburbanites and liberal city dwellers, left-wing college students, and even some one-time Trump voters who thought their party had gone too far. The Republican Party is not reflective of the average Republican in Michigan, Ms. Whitmer said, nodding to the hard right turn of the Michigan GOP. I don't think that everyone's all of a sudden become Democrats. Ms. Whitmer had cautioned against claiming political mandates. But Democrats have moved assertively to act on their power, which includes full control of the legislature and the governor's mansion for the first time in 40 years, focusing on both pocketbook priorities and cultural issues. They have shepherded through a major tax package, and to the consternation of some businesses in the business community, made Michigan the first state in nearly 60 years to repeal right-to-work rules, which is why I kind of want to talk about that a little bit today. Mm-hmm. But that's why I'm reading this anyway. But which have weakened organized labor. They've expanded LGBTQ protections and pursued anti-gun violence measures, and have moved to repeal a now unenforceable abortion ban from 1931. Ms. Whitmer has also signed a measure moving up Michigan's presidential primary, a move blessed by national Democrats, though it is unclear how Republicans will proceed. Anyway, this is funny. If that calendar change takes hold, voters around the country who were once made intimately familiar with the Iowa State Fair may soon become acquainted with the Poos and Potato Festival and a Michigan Cheeseburger Festival as the state moves into position. a greater prominence of the Democratic nominating process. Anyway, why the Cheeseburger Festival? Come
What
on.
is that?
Do we just like eat a lot of cheeseburgers? Maybe
Uh,
we do.
I don't
Are we
know.
like the fattest state with this?
I don't know.
We have cheeseburger festivals here. We grow cheeseburgers on cheeseburger trees. We have to use cheeseburger pickers to pick them. We only pick the rapist cheeseburgers.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Okay.
They turn a nice golden brown.
I think probably it'd be a good idea, just in case anybody doesn't know. Right to work is basically where workers do not have to join a union at a place. They do not have to pay dues.
Yeah, right. I just think that that's amazing. They said, like, again, for the first time in like 60 years. That's insane. Yeah, that's anything like that's been repealed. So it's been like pretty much all of our lives and more has been in one direction. You know, everything's been heading.
Yeah, can I just say that?
Sliding to the right, getting rid of unions, being anti-union, getting rid of unions' power, breaking them. You know, and now it's finally the pendulum. I mean, actually, I don't even think it's completely swung back. It's just kind of like going to the center now. So there's a little bit of pushback for the first time since like the 40s.
Yep.
You know, and like literally the 40s. And like it's just like, oh my God, the business community is like the sky is falling. What are we gonna do? All the businesses are gonna leave Michigan. How can this possibly be happening to us? Anyway, I just think that that's crazy, but.
Yeah, and that's what that
It's
kind
like-
of law is what made most of our working lives shitty, trying to find jobs
Well,
that
it's just-
actually paid anything and representation in the workplace.
The point of those laws was to bankrupt the unions. That's all, and it has been pretty successful. I know a lot of people are going to hate this now because they're gonna say like, I don't want to pay dues to the stupid union. I don't have to pay dues, but now they are going to have to. If you're in a union shop now, it's going to be a union shop. No opting out. You know, that's just how it works. If you don't like it, then quit your job and go work in a non-union shop and see if your benefits are any better there.
Yep.
I kind of feel like that's happening. That will happen to a lot of people when they try that. They'll be surprised. They'll be like, I'm going to go quit and work at Target. Fuck everything. You know, but like, that's that when they get to Target and they start on the first day, they're going to realize, oh, I dropped, you know, a case of beer or dropped some pop. Oh, you're fired. You know what? But you like didn't mean to. It doesn't matter. You're fired. You know, like they don't even give a shit, dude. Nope. Like that's just that's what it's going to be like. And like I don't think people realize that who are in union jobs, they have like this level of protection. Like yeah, no one can fire you for making a mistake. You know, in a union job. Like, but at Walmart or Target or wherever the fuck, yeah, you're done. You know what I mean? Sorry, you made a mistake. We don't accept that here.
Yep.
You know, like that's just. Yeah, anyway.
They also go as far, because I remember a lot of the jobs when I was younger that I worked that were not union. And, like, you get a sniffle, you better show up at work. You were in the hospital star, you better be here.
Good luck with that.
You cannot not show up.
Yeah.
Or you're fired and there's 5 other people
and
that
that's
take
the thing.
a job.
That's how it used to be.
Yep.
I mean, maybe
that's
it's not.
what made our life crappy.
But it's not so much
this.
like that now with the amount of people willing to take jobs, I suppose. But
yeah, it's
a lot of
different
people who
climate now.
work in the union, from reading angry comments online, a lot of people who work in union places, I think, are definitely considering like I need to change jobs to a non-union, but I think they'd be a little shocked at the conditions.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yep.
So that's amazing. I just want to say really quick here, the New York Times article. I won't read the whole thing again. Sorry, I tend to do that.
Stop reading, Ben.
I know. I'm awful. Miss Rittmer's victory margin. She won by 11 percentage points, is what it says, and that was like on par with like way more liberal states for Democratic governors and stuff, I guess. So I think that's amazing. Still, it really speaks to her like charisma, I suppose. Anyway. And I guess whatever favorability, likability rating, whatever. But yeah, that's really amazing. So anyway, yeah, so that's all just fucking amazing. I just hope that people consider moving back to Michigan, maybe even if they've left the state. The state's actually a lot better off in many ways than many other states, and as far as some of this stuff goes. I mean, if I was raising a child here, which we are, but if I was raising a child in another state who is especially female, I would definitely think about not living in that state if there was no really no I want to say maternal care, really,
Prenatal,
which is what's happening
postnatal.
postnatal. But like what's happening in Idaho, for example, from what I was just reading another article about
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
like there is are doctors leaving the state. There's hospitals refusing to do births,
Maternity at all.
just
Yeah,
maternity,
births.
anything. Like there's
Yep,
no, they made it illegal to do maternal care,
yep.
like to save the life of the mother. Like it's crazy. Like almost like their point is like they're trying to like have women die or something. I don't even understand what the hell's going on in Idaho or how those laws are even getting passed. Like it's going really, really far, and it doesn't even have anything to do with abortion at that point. Um, I don't believe it has anything to do with abortion
Yeah,
at
I
that
thought
point.
they were right
I don't
to
even know what it
life.
has to do with. It's just
What
like they're
about
just like we can't provide maternal care. Like I don't
babies
understand
and
that.
mothers die all the time if they don't have proper maternal care during the birthing process.
I'm so proud though of Michigan now for not becoming that state. For not,
Yeah.
I think we were on the verge of that like just 5 years ago. We were on the
Hmm.
verge, you know, and it just completely swung the other way. So
So, all you ladies and moms out there in other states, if you happen to hear us, please come to Michigan. Move to Michigan. You can have maternal care here.
if they'll let you, which apparently now they're not
Yeah,
letting
yeah, they're
people
making laws so
come
they
to
can't
other
even
states.
move. Yeah, that's terrifying.
So I don't know what's going on with that, but I mean, as far as
When
like
is that ever
coming to
gonna?
other states for the purpose of an abortion, of course,
Yep.
like that's what, like they're not they're passing laws against that,
Hmm.
and that's
That's
just
one of the.
completely insane. And actually, not I don't see how that's enforceable, and I think that like that's where it goes back to the fugitive slave laws.
Yep.
Like they're gonna start, we're gonna have to start passing things or referring to laws that were on the books pre Civil War
Yep.
to help save people
Who come here
who
to
come
get
here
help.
from other states to prevent them from getting prosecuted or extradited to the other states for breaking the law there.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, and like that. So it's gonna be that's just gonna be a crazy amount of court battles that are probably gonna. It's just good. They're gonna start cropping up.
Yep.
God knows how different judges will rule that, but yep.
I think as a woman that is terrifying. The idea that you can't move to a different place or leave to go get medical care you need from another place because it's banned in your state is just insane in any American's mind, because America's about freedom to move around, freedom to speak, freedom to do all these things. Well, laws like this really don't you don't have any freedom on that anymore.
No, well,
Basically,
I think they were trying to pass something. This is not enforceable either. They were trying to pass something preventing doctors from leaving Idaho or something, because doctors are leaving because they're like not allowed to do their job.
yeah.
You know, like they're not allowed to save people.
Mm-hmm.
That's their job. I wouldn't say, but they're not gonna be able to stop them from leaving. That's just crazy. Okay. Anyway, glad I'm not in the crazy ass fascist state of Idaho.
Yep.
That's whatever. Jesus, I'm sure it's very beautiful, but hell of that. Or at least I'm glad I ain't raising a family there.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, you're a girl dad.
yeah. So that's true.
Yep. Can't have that.
Um,
Anybody who loves the women in their life should not be for something like this, because we want our women to be healthy, our babies to be healthy, our
yeah.
children to be healthy. So
Yep.
I want people to live.
Yeah, so just wanted to go say this is great that they've expanded LGBTQ protections too. That's just amazing. That's another issue that I think trans rights are being curtailed in many states now.
Yep.
That has somehow become a cultural win for Republicans and for at least among the far right in red states.
Yep.
And so they're now going to, they're essentially legalizing discrimination
Yep.
in some red states, I think. But not in Michigan. Again, like that's something. This is like that's amazing. This bill. Let me find it here. This was passed back in the middle of March. It looks like.
Yeah.
Looking.
Trans rights are becoming more important too, especially after this last shooting, and then the far right people are trying to blame and attack trans people, which is wrong. Okay, that's just like it's bringing it back, man. It's like we're in World War II again. Like instead of the Jewish population, now it's the LGBTQ and trans population that's okay to pick on.
Yeah, actually,
to attack, and it's not okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's SB4 is what it's called. The codified Michigan court rulings that found in the state civil rights law, blah, 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 that offers LGBTQ individuals. Okay. The Michigan Court of Claims ruled in December 2020. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it's just codifying what the court's already ruled, I guess. So, I mean, maybe it's a token, maybe not. Maybe it's good to do it that they can,
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, there's a big article about that in the Detroit Free Press, too. But, no, what was happening, actually, it does feel like they're looking for a reason. Okay, it was the shooting in Nashville, right?
Correct.
Was, unfortunately, perpetrated by a person who was trans. And that's...
purported to be.
That has caused a huge uptick now on, like, the right... People like Tucker Carlson and stuff like that were like waiting for that to like happen. Almost it feels like just like chomping it. They're like, oh, thank God, this is what we need, you know.
Yeah.
And
we need to rally around something, and since
they wanted, now they have a group to blame.
Yep.
You know,
and it can unify their party again against a single enemy, right?
So this is actually, we need to stop this.
Correct.
I don't know. However, we can stop it. I don't know. Wherever we see discrimination, obviously, I mean, there's only so much you can do. I mean, I don't know, but like the key is to stop it. You know what I mean? Don't allow people on the right to try to demonize trans people based on one incident. You know, like that's something that I feel like, especially as we get closer to another election, which the next election actually is going to be right around the corner. It's next year. Already, you know, it's just like every congressman's up for re-election in the entire country next year.
Yep.
So it's it's coming right up, 2024. It's kind of insane how that system is kind of unstable, isn't it? But there's already people running, you know, and like that's like Marjorie Taylor Greene won't shut up about all the shit, you know what I mean, that's happening there. And so that's, we got to really, really, really try to not let the lies of that side get out of hand, I feel like, and they will lie, you know what I mean, like they're going to, I feel like they're going to try, you're right, it's like World War II, they're going to try to demonize trans people like the Nazis demonized the Jews, is what my fear is. They're going to try to come together over a common enemy. Right. And that's who they're going to use as
that's
their
what they're using.
That's what it does feel like. It definitely feels
And the thing of it is we have to remember this is America and we have free speech laws. So we have to remember that even though
they're allowed to say
Marjorie can say what she wants, other people can protest that as well.
And you can say back.
You can say it back.
You can respond.
Say what you want to say back.
Yeah, and that's I mean, you can start your own podcast.
Neither side needs to restrict this.
You can respond on Twitter, you know. Yep. You don't have to just let unhinged, crazy people get to say shit. Because you're right, it can go down this road so quick to like, right to, you know, next thing you know, it's like we're just eliminating people from our society or even just creating a segregated society.
Right.
And that's something that America seems to be yearning to go back to some form of segregation almost.
Yep.
In some people's hearts, even if it's not going to be like black and white segregation, somehow it'll be trans segregation. You know, like it's just like everybody seems to want to hate somebody.
It's gender based because they're doing it about women too. You know, with the whole abortion thing, and then not giving maternal care. That's treating women as if they're not human, as if they are the enemy too. So the extreme right is very focused on gender,
and that's where I think they can get a lot of votes.
Yeah,
that's actually, I shouldn't say it's not like the actual politicians say to anybody. They don't care. They're just using this as a way to get votes, and they can get people all riled up and hate another group of people. Then get them to hate women, really, or hate trans people or whatever. Either way, they can get their votes. You know what I mean? And that's all they want.
And get you to focus on what they want you to see instead of looking at what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Yep. And you got to be careful that no matter what group you're
Yeah,
in.
they don't want you to think about climate change or the cryptocracy
Or the fact
like
that
the death rate. And now, like I can't remember what I was reading. Like traffic fatalities in the United States now are just as high as like a third world country. It's like really bad. I mean, I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying. I just happened to see it online. I mean, I guess I'd have to verify that. But I mean, like, I just read that today. I'm like, oh my God. Like, so maybe we need to do something about the traffic issues in the United States.
or that our life
Maybe
expectancy is
our
going
life
down.
life expectancy is going down. You're right.
In our country.
Is contrary to what everybody says. Contrary to what I watch Bill Maher and stuff too, but contrary to what he says, he's just like, oh, people here are living forever. Blah. Yeah, easy for him to say millionaire pants. Like living in his Beverly Hills house. But that's not the case by and large. It's actually gone down. Like I think that we're like an ostrich. A lot of people just have their head in this on the left too.
Yes.
On the left too, not just on the right.
Correct.
So I'm speaking as a society at large.
Right.
I know I've driven away like as anybody who could possibly ever be a Republican. There's no way they're listening to this right now anyway.
Nope.
I'm sure they hate my guts if they are, and that's fine. That's their
you
right to do. You
are allowed to have your opinion.
But you're allowed to have. I'm allowed to have my opinion too, and I'm allowed to have some conservative beliefs as well as some leftist beliefs. So.
Speaking of not being too far left, there was an article that I think something about MSU. What was that? They released some kind of words you can't say.
Yeah, they said not to say Christmas or something.
And a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh my God!
Christmas tree in America might be offensive.
Yeah.
Some kind of thing they hand out that.
I almost think that was made by somebody on the right as like some sort of like
to make
decoy,
people mad, yeah.
Just to make people's heads explode. Like, come on.
Because seriously, I'm going to just say this out here. All of you universities, please don't do this. Because universities are supposed to be the center of critical thinking and having conversations, no matter where you come from. That you can talk across the aisle, you can understand each other, you can come to some kind of understanding of each person's point of view. And if you shut one side down and they are not able to talk, you're never going to understand anything.
It's like that professor at Big Rapids who quoted Deadwood.
Yeah.
Who said cocksucker a bunch. And he was a professor.
Right.
Look, he's allowed to say cocksucker.
Yep.
He's allowed to say fuck, you know what I mean? He's allowed to say any word he wants.
These are adults in his classroom.
I'm sorry. If you can't handle that and you're 18, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
But he got fired,
Yep.
Like unbelievable. They're coddling 18-year-olds. I do agree with people on the right about that completely. That's fucking insane.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry you can't hit. And the thing is, I think he was like, I'm trying to think of it was a cinema professor, wasn't he? Was it like I can't remember. It was English. But anyway, he just swore a lot in his first opening lecture. And that just somehow got everybody all offended.
Yep.
It's just absolutely just outrageous.
This comes down
that
to
he got fired over
we
that.
really need to watch, no matter which side of the aisle you are on, about not restricting speech. And I feel like this is speech restriction. It's free speech restriction.
Yeah.
Not allowing people to do things like that.
Yeah.
Or Twitter banning certain people because they said a word they weren't supposed to. Let them be.
No,
they
should
will be
allowed
shouted
to say
down
it.
by the opposite opinion.
Yes.
You don't need to do that.
No, there's no need to do that.
We cannot do that. We cannot restrict people's speech in this country. No way, no how.
I think universities are the most guilty of doing that right at this point.
Stop it.
And I don't know what the hell. Cocksuckers.
Yep. So. I'm going to say the word obese now, and that was a no-no word too.
Yeah,
I am obese. I am obese. I am fat, formerly known as fat. Or if you're a Garfield fan, under tall.
Yeah, no. I like lasagna. That's the politically correct word.
Yeah.
I like lasagna.
I like lasagna. And to be honest, I'm a body positive person. But if somebody wants to say something like in a derogatory way, I can have a conversation with them. That's an opening of having a conversation with someone. Maybe they can see your side of the point.
Don't be rude. Just don't be rude.
Don't shut people down.
But don't be rude. Don't walk around calling people fat.
No.
But don't also. But you don't have to even say just fucking Jesus. Just don't. Just don't be rude. Don't be a rude asshole. And that's what's happening online is everybody's just being a rude asshole online where they wouldn't be in real life.
Right.
You know, but like that's I think the online space has created that.
It's so dogpile-y.
Yeah, that too.
Trolly and dogpile-y.
You know, that's...
It just made me laugh and also cry because I'm just like, we can't do this to free speech. It's like all the things that you're supposed to like, they will come for you or something that you say. You need to stop with this.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
I know.
And stop targeting the other. Stop making new groups of the other. We're all here living in this country. We need to be kind.
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be the most diverse country in the world, right?
Yep.
Yep. Well, maybe.
Maybe for a little while. Who knows?
Yep. Anyway.
Anyway.
I'm trying to think if we had anything else to go over today. Really, I just wanted to mostly talk about how awesome the Democrats are in the state and how I think that they have just simply brought things back to the center. I would not consider them to be far left at all. Mm-hmm. Far left, in my mind, would be seizing the means of production. Yep. So that's not exactly at all what we're talking about.
Right.
That's far left. That's having the state seize control of all the manufacturing pretty quick. Yeah. That would be different. But that's not. No, we're not talking far left. We're talking about putting your gun away when you're done shooting it. Mm-hmm. How is that extreme?
Yep.
That's not extreme. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah. Like, can you manage that? Like,
yep. Making sure our kids are fed with, free reduced meals. Yeah. Because, we want our kids to be fed healthy. Yep. We don't want... that's something else I wanted to talk about. In some places, I can't remember which states it was, they were allowing children to go to work. This is also terrifying to me.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What in the hell, man?
It's...
No way.
That's a reason. That's an argument for unions.
Yeah,
I think
we need unions.
If those are union shops, maybe they would actually prevent, even not based on the state law. Maybe the people who are in the union would prevent children from actually working there.
Yep.
So that's something that would be good, not to have children working.
Mm-hmm. And the matter of fact is.
Go ahead.
We've lost a lot of people during the COVID pandemic. And a lot of people died. So there's a lot of people that aren't in the workforce anymore. But that does not mean we need to start.
There's a people shortage.
Children
it's not that people are lazy. There actually is a shortage of people.
Yeah. It's because of death,
there's less people to work. But one last thing I wanted to say. Did you, maybe not the last, but one more thing I wanted to talk about was the fire in Greenville and the explosion in Greenville.
Yes.
At the Die Castle factory, where I read that it was a Chinese immigrant laborer. I don't know. Did you hear that?
Yes.
And I don't even know if that's legal or illegal. I have no idea about any of it.
But I thought they were getting investigated.
They're trying to say the worker's at fault, of course. Like he has any freaking choice.
Right.
Because I'm sure his job is dependent. He's being in this country is dependent on his job, so that's gonna say whatever he has, whatever they tell him to, which is shit. So that's just. I think he was pretty new too. They said, right?
Yep.
Anyway, I just feel like OSHA should be all over that shit. Mm-hmm. Shut that shit down if they have to. Yep. Whatever. I don't give a shit about like how many jobs? They say we're like a big employer in Macomb County, but how many people from Macomb County are even working there?
They pay too little for.
So if they're importing laborers from China to work there. Yep. Then what the hell are they even here for?
Right.
They should be actually doing something here. Are they actually even? The way things tend to work around here, I doubt they're actually paying property taxes or anything. Mm-hmm. Who the hell knows if they're paying any taxes to the local municipality, to the local governments? So they're probably the hope is that they would hire people, but then if they're just hiring immigrants from China to work there, then what the fuck is that even doing for the local economy at all?
Right.
I don't know. That's just my rant. I don't know anything. I don't know enough about it to say. Anyway, just clean your fucking act up, Die Castle. Clean the fuck up. So
and you better take care of that worker of yours.
Yeah,
that
you fucking take care of the worker. Exactly.
Also, if there was hazardous stuff in there, we should know about it, and because people in our town actually felt the explosion.
I know.
And we're not close. that close.
Talk about toxic plumes and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, clean your fucking shit up, man. Also, I think that they said it was like the 4th fire or something this year.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on in
it's
there?
OSHA. Yeah, OSHA needs to do its job.
You need
Shut
to get...
that shit down or fucking get it cleaned up. One of the two. You know, do not fuck around with that shit. Sorry.
People can die, and people do die all the time because of that.
Yeah, poor schmuck. Can he fucking even see or hear
I have
or
no
talk
idea.
anymore? Is he completely burned?
They never.
I
never said.
I mean, poor bastard.
I feel bad for him.
If he just started, how the fuck does he know without somebody telling him what to do?
Right.
You know, Jesus. I mean, how does that make it his fault if he didn't? Anyway, if he hasn't had training, so but whatever. Obviously, he doesn't have a choice, and again, but fucking evil corporations.
Yep.
So,
of course, all they do though, like when they are
corporation
investigated like that, they just closing down our factory, and then they pop up with a brand new name, like another factory around in the area did after they had a major accident where somebody died. And now they're under a new name now. But it's still probably the same owners. I don't know. Yeah. And that's what they should not do. They should feel some community responsibility.
Yes. All right. I think that I kind of wanted to wrap it up. I'm trying to think if there was any other local news we want to go over. I'm sure there was something, but like I said, I think that with the rarity that we do this podcast, I think we could kind of go on all day. And I'm trying to keep it below an hour if I can. If possible. I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm trying, when I look at how much time has gone by, I'm trying to keep them below an hour. I don't know. So maybe I think that people listen to podcasts more when they're not, really long.
It's got to be
I used to listen hour. When I used to listen to podcasts that were like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 20 or whatever. But then again, I don't know. I think a lot of the bigger podcasts now are like Joe Rogan will go for like 4 hours. I guess they go as long as they go. They go 4 hours if they're supposed to go that. But did you have anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Well, thanks a lot for listening again. Remember to
like and subscribe and share.
I don't even want to say it.
I will. Horrible. Like, subscribe, and share.
I know. Jeez.
Still working on the Patreon page. I have not got it fixed to figure it out yet.
Yes, we do have one, though.
Yep. I don't want to do tiers. I'm trying to figure out, if you know anything about that page and you have any advice, please email me.
If you do listen, to this, we have stickers. You can have a sticker.
Yes, I have stickers made that say Red State Blues, and they're pretty cool. You can put them on your water bottle and everything.
Yeah.
They're waterproof. But I'm trying to figure out, how do I get them to people? So we'll figure that out, and I'll post it to the page on Facebook.
All right.
Mama P.
Mama P.
You Wobbeman.
Woman.